By the time the black SUV rolled into Jacmel, the entire town already knew about the man inside it. In a place like Jacmel, news traveled faster than the ocean wind, especially when the news involved a handsome wealthy Haitian man returning from abroad unmarried, successful, and mysterious. Women whispered from balconies overlooking the narrow colorful streets. Vendors paused in the middle of selling fried plantains near the market. Even the fishermen by the shore had opinions before sunset arrived. Diaspora money, some people said. They say he owns businesses in Montreal. I heard he bought the old mansion near the coastline. And apparently, he is still single. That final detail spread through Jacmel like carnival music. Jean-Marc Delva stepped out of the vehicle looking calm and polished beneath the warm Caribbean sunlight, dressed in a crisp linen shirt with expensive sunglasses resting casually in one hand, and immediately the attention followed him everywhere he went. But unlike most wealthy men who enjoyed being admired, Jean-Marc carried himself with a quiet distance that made him difficult to read. And that was exactly why Nadège Laurent disliked him almost immediately. Nadège was not the kind of woman easily impressed by money or polished appearances. She had grown up watching too many wealthy men visit Haiti pretending to care about the people while secretly looking down on them, and after years of disappointment, she had developed sharp instincts and even sharper words. She taught literature at a small school near the waterfront during the day, helped her widowed mother run their struggling guest house at night, and protected her pride fiercely because life had taught her that once people saw weakness, they rarely treated you gently afterward. So the first time she saw Jean-Marc smiling politely while wealthy local officials surrounded him at a cultural fundraiser near the plaza, something inside her immediately became defensive. To Nadège, he looked like every privileged man who had ever mistaken charm for character. And unfortunately for Jean-Marc, things only became worse from there. Later that evening, while music played softly beneath glowing lanterns and artists displayed colorful paintings inspired by Haitian history and carnival life, Nadège accidentally overheard Jean-Marc speaking quietly to his friend while glancing in her direction. "She is beautiful," he admitted calmly, "but she looks like the kind of woman who enjoys arguing." His friend laughed. Jean-Marc smiled slightly, and Nadège heard every single word. The embarrassment burned through her instantly. Not because he insulted her openly, but because part of her hated how much his opinion affected her. From that moment forward, every interaction between them became a battle. Whenever Jean-Marc spoke about investing in Jacmel's cultural restoration projects, Nadège challenged his intentions publicly. Whenever he praised Haiti's beauty, she accused him of romanticizing struggle because he could always return comfortably to life abroad. And whenever he tried remaining calm during their arguments, it only irritated her more because his composure made her feel emotionally exposed. One evening during an art exhibition near the seaside promenade, their tension finally exploded openly. "You speak about Haiti like a tourist discovering poverty for the first time," Nadège told him sharply while crossing her arms. Jean-Marc looked at her quietly before responding. "And you speak to me like you already decided who I am before learning anything about me. Men like you are predictable. Men like me, yes. Wealthy Haitian men who suddenly rediscover patriotism once they become successful somewhere else." For the first time, irritation flickered visibly across Jean-Marc's face. "You think money automatically makes someone heartless?" "No," Nadège replied coldly. "But it usually makes people forget where they came from." Jean-Marc stared at her for several seconds before answering softly. "You carry a lot of anger for someone who knows nothing about me." And somehow that response hurt more than if he had shouted. Because deep down, Nadège knew there was truth inside his words. But pride is dangerous because once it takes control, even intelligent people begin protecting their assumptions more than the truth itself. Days passed, then weeks, and despite constantly clashing, Jean-Marc and Nadège somehow kept crossing paths throughout Jacmel. At community meetings, at fundraising events, at local cafes beside the ocean, at art festivals filled with music, dancing, and colorful rara processions winding through the streets at night. And beneath every argument lived an attraction neither of them wanted to admit. Nadège hated how calm his voice sounded whenever he challenged her. Jean-Marc hated how impossible it was to stop thinking about her after every conversation. But neither one knew the full truth about the other. What Nadège did not know was that Jean-Marc had not returned to Haiti for business opportunities alone. Years earlier, his late father had acquired land near Jacmel through corrupt deals that devastated several local families after economic hardship forced desperate people to sell properties worth far more than they received. Jean-Marc discovered the truth only after inheriting parts of the family business abroad, and unlike his relatives who preferred silence, he became consumed by guilt. Returning to Haiti became his way of trying to repair damage created long before he had power to stop it. Quietly and without publicity, Jean-Marc funded schools, repaired fishing boats after storms, restored community buildings, and paid educational scholarships for children throughout Jacmel. But he never spoke publicly about any of it because he believed real compassion should not feel like a performance. Unfortunately, silence created space for misunderstanding. And misunderstanding slowly poisoned everything between them. Then one night during carnival season, everything changed. The streets of Jacmel pulsed with drums, dancing, painted masks, and bright costumes glowing beneath colorful lights while crowds moved through the city celebrating with music loud enough to shake the ground itself. Nadège attended reluctantly after spending another exhausting week struggling financially beside her mother at the guest house, and although she tried enjoying the celebration, frustration followed her everywhere. That was when she overheard two drunken businessmen laughing carelessly nearby. Jean-Marc keeps throwing money around this town trying to clean up his father's sins. The second man laughed louder. He should feel guilty. The Delva family ruined lives here years ago. Nadège froze instantly. Moments later she saw Jean-Marc standing alone nearby beneath hanging lanterns, looking unusually tired while the celebration continued around him. For the first time since meeting him, he did not look wealthy or untouchable. He looked burdened, human. When Nadège confronted him privately later that night near the oceanfront, the truth finally surfaced completely. "You never told anyone," she whispered after hearing everything. Jean-Marc looked toward the dark waves crashing softly against the shore. "Because I was not looking for praise. And all this time, I judged you. You judged me before allowing yourself to see me." His voice remained calm, but the disappointment inside it shattered something inside her. For the first time, Nadège realized how deeply her own prejudice had blinded her. She spent so much time accusing Jean-Marc of arrogance that she never noticed her own pride becoming cruelty. And Jean-Marc realized his silence had unintentionally allowed her worst assumptions to grow stronger. After that night, something between them softened slowly. Not suddenly, not magically, slowly. Nadège began noticing the smaller things about him instead of focusing only on her anger. She saw him helping workers repaint damaged classrooms beneath the hot afternoon sun without cameras nearby. She saw him sitting beside elderly fishermen listening more than speaking. She saw neighborhood children running excitedly toward him during community events because unlike most wealthy men, Jean-Marc actually remembered their names. And Jean-Marc finally saw the exhaustion Nadège constantly hid behind confidence. He saw how hard she worked to support her family. He saw how fiercely she protected her students. He saw how often she carried everyone else's pain while pretending she needed nothing herself. Then one rainy afternoon, while trapped together inside the Laurent guest house during a tropical storm that flooded parts of Jacmel, the emotional walls between them finally collapsed. Rain hammered loudly against the windows while thunder rolled across the ocean in the distance, and inside the softly lit dining room, silence settled between them for several long moments before Nadège finally spoke quietly. "I was unfair to you." Jean-Marc looked at her gently but said nothing. Nadège swallowed hard before continuing. "I convinced myself I understood you before I even tried listening." Jean-Marc smiled faintly. "You certainly listened enough to argue." To his surprise, Nadège laughed softly. A real laugh this time. Not sarcastic. Not defensive. Just honest. "You still think I enjoy arguing?" she asked. Jean-Marc stepped closer slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. "Yes," he admitted calmly. "But now I think you argue because you care too deeply about everything." The tension between them shifted instantly. Softer. Warmer. Dangerously intimate. And before Nadège could hide behind pride again, Jean-Marc finally said the words both of them had been fighting for months. "I tried to dislike you too," he confessed quietly. "But somehow you became the only person I could not stop thinking about." Outside, rain continued falling over Jacmel while distant carnival music echoed softly through the streets. And inside that small guest house, two stubborn hearts finally stopped fighting long enough to understand each other. Months later, their wedding became one of the most unforgettable celebrations Jacmel had seen in years. The streets overflowed with music, dancing, flowers, and laughter while colorful murals decorated nearby buildings and the ocean shimmered beautifully beneath the golden Haitian sunset. But what moved people most was not the elegance of the ceremony or the wealth surrounding it. It was the love story itself. Because everyone knew they had started as two proud people trapped by assumptions, prejudice, and emotional walls strong enough to destroy something beautiful before it even began. Yet somehow, through humility, truth, and understanding, they found their way back to each other. And in a town like Jacmel, where people carried both pain and resilience inside the same heart, that kind of love meant everything. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure you check out our other stories on our YouTube channel.